Hey guys, how's it going? It's Red Tail Gorilla. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get a near linear ambush done and over with. I've got, alright, so first of all, let's just go over what is a near ambush and then what is a far ambush. Near ambush is anything that's within hand grenade range, 35 yards or 35 meters, whatever you guys want to call it. I say yards for you civilians out there. Yes, military guys, I realize that 35 yards is a little bit shorter than 35 meters, just barely. Right, so we'll call it 36 yards or 40 yards, but it's 35 meters, right? Hand grenade range. Okay, so linear ambush. Already showed you guys how to go in ass backwards. We have our security elements, which I'm going to move them out of the way here in a second anyhow. I just want you guys to see that they do move up towards the objective, just not right on it. We have our support by fire, right? Little machine gunner here, and our overall controller, right? And then we've got our alpha team and the assault, right? So we have ass backwards, security, support, and then assault. This is 10 folks. They're probably going to max out at 3 people, right? You want 3 folks to be able to gun down 1 person, right? Or 3 to 1 odds. So we have almost exactly what we need to take on 3, but if it's any larger than 3, or if it's a vehicle and you guys don't have vehicle killing weapons, then you're probably not attacking vehicles either, right? This is just the basic infantry portion of it. Alright, so your commander is going to call the initiation. And let's say that our 50 yards wide, right? We're going from, this pink grate to, let's just say the end of our kill zone is right here. So coverage. Assault is covering 100% of the objective, right? Our 50-yard objective. And then your machine gunner, light machine gunner, whatever you guys happen to have, is also covering 100%, right? And the military will have our saws that cover 50 and 50, right? So let's pretend this guy's a saw. He's going to cover from the outside to 50. This guy's going to cover from the outside to 50. Our machine gunner is going to cover 100% of the kill zone, right? So he's doing, with like a 240 or whatever, all of it, right? However, the expectation is that as guerrillas, we're probably not going to have all this stuff. We're probably not going to have that many people, right? But let's just go ahead and go over it real quick. A near ambush should probably take 10 minutes or less to conduct. So let's go ahead with kickoff. All right, first thing that's going to happen is we're going to initiate. And we'll pretend that we've got some explosives. So we initiate with explosives, boom, boom, with not C4, usually we use M118s, right? The next thing that's going to happen is you're going to have a mad minute. So here's 1 whole minute. Once that explosion happens, we're just saturating the entire 50-yard target with as much fires as we have for a whole minute, right? After you use some ammunition, what's the very first thing you're going to want to do? Well, if we've got saws on the ends, Alpha Team Leader is going to get everybody on a knee and say drums. Drums means everybody who is got a belt fed is going to do it. Drums are going to call up. Drums reloaded. The next group of guys, your riflemen, we're going to call mags. Mags get reinserted, reloaded. Okay? Alright. And then we're going to pretend that this is our Alpha Team Leader, right? He's always going to move with the first element that's moving. Let's pretend that this is a 35-yard space. We won't really focus too much on security. Security is probably going to move up to the road, or have already moved up to the road once initiation happens, because what's their job? Their job is to lock down that area and make sure that the homies are not getting run into by bad guys, right? Okay, so you're probably going to move that 15 yards. We're going to do a successive bound, because we don't want to miss anything. You know, left side move with me, right side move to me. Okay. And then here, especially if it's at night or whatever, you're going to want to white light this stuff. So at this one point in time, especially if you don't have nods or you're not used to working under nods, because once you hurt bad people, the very next thing that you're going to do on most objectives, right, there are objectives like attack by fire where you don't go to the objective, right, but in the case of an ambush, you're going to clear the objective out. Okay? So you're going to pick up at this location, and everybody moves together to assault through. As you're coming across bodies, you're going to call it body, and you just double tap whoever's, you know, not moving, right? Whoever's not moving, you're just going to double tap them. You keep on moving together as one unit, body. Okay, cool, yeah, we saw these other guys. They were already, you know, laying down and stuff. You're popping them in the head, right? If you're close enough to kick a rifle away, whatever. But as you're crossing them, you're popping that assumed to be dead body, right? I get it. You know, that sounds bad, sounds like desecration, whatever. You know it's really awesome about dead people? They don't shoot you in the fucking back, right? So if you're coming across them, you see a body, don't get stingy with your bullets. Blast them twice in the fucking face. You say body, that tells everybody else to halt. You smoke that motherfucker in the face. I don't care if he's already dead or everybody thinks he's already dead, right? You smoke him. Anyway, once you assault through, you're going to the end of your objective. Well, we don't just go to the end of our objective, do we? We go to our limit of advance, which, since this was our kill box, we're going 35 yards past our kill box. So let's pretend that the tippy top here is our 35 yards past the kill box. And I'll just, there we go, so we can see that. So we can see our 35 yards, and you're going to post your little security corners here. Now, at that very same time, as we're moving up, your machine gun is going to move up and be facing the direction that the bad guys came from. Obviously, our security element has moved closer to the road, mostly so they can see it. Your left limit for that machine gunner is going to be the edge of the road, so you don't end up shooting your own guys, right? And your leader is coming up with them. So because we don't want to actually shoot our own homies, we're not just moving up, we're moving across. So now we have made that L shape, right? Here's another L shape. Whoop. And we're kind of posting up to make sure that, well, if the bad guys came from this direction, that's probably the direction that they're coming from, right? And again, you want your machine gun to be the opposite side of where you think the bad guys are coming from for your attack. You got like a very small, very, very shallow L, right? Because this is not an L-shaped ambush. This is a linear, like we'd said. And once you do that, the very next thing that you're going to do is search your enemy combatants, right? We already kind of cleared on our way over there because we smoked these guys. But your ATL is probably going to say, like, hey, you know, we're going to, you know, clear out and search back. Well, these guys already kind of sort of are cleared. So you are going to take these guys one by one, and it looks like the ATL is going with, just because we don't have a whole lot of guys, right? And these dudes are pulling security on the far side. You still have your two security elements that you already posted. They are on your left and right still. And you still have your machine gun doing security. We know that this area is cleared because you just fucked it all up. It's all destroyed, right? You're going to come out. You're going to get whatever equipment you can off of these homies. Check pockets. We'll show you how to do an actual search, I guess, at some point, now that I'm thinking about it. But an actual search of people. We didn't even bother with this half the time, right? I'm not searching every pocket on somebody's chest rig. I just take the entire chest rig, right? You can either clip it off and yank the entire chest rig with you, or you can cut it off if that's what you want to do. Whatever, I don't really care. You take whatever equipment they have on them, you just take it with you, right? You'll take it into the woods at some point, and then you're just going to, you know, use it for yourself or destroy it or whatever. That a lot of regular military units are going to be like, well, you know, let's destroy it. We'll just blow it in place or whatever. But we ended up later starting just taking all weapons, all equipment. This is stuff that ends up being commander's critical information requirements, like CCIR, because you want to know exactly what the enemy is carrying. What do they look like? You know, do they have radios on them? If I took all of his kit, I probably got his radio, right? And unless it's a Z'd out radio that's using regular frequencies, then, or there's just no frequencies in there anymore, right? Because he Z'd it out before he died. Okay, cool. Maybe he got lucky, but a lot of the FRS radios that like Taliban were using, man, we would just take that FRS radio and be like, you know what? We know they're going to be on this at some point. And as soon as they checked in or as soon as they called, we just direction find that shit and get them, right? You as a guerrilla probably not going to be doing that. But you just take all the stuff. If you're a guerrilla and you just happen to have 10 dudes and you smoke 3 guys, well, you have 3 guys worth of shit, right? Okay. So your overall lead, right? Not your assault leader, but your overall lead, your squad leader, is probably going to want that equipment. If there's a vehicle, then I wouldn't even destroy that vehicle in place, right? We'll get to vehicles here in a second. Take that shit. Take everything, right? Take everything that you can. There's no reason to destroy bad guy equipment in place if it's ultimately going to be super useful to you. All right, cool. So we have everything that we want. Alpha team leader can either come back, or what you end up usually doing is bringing all the crap to your lead, right? You bring all the crap to the lead, and he'll decide like whether we're going to destroy it or blow it up in place or whatever, right? We've already gone over this, I think, in a regular attack. Maybe we haven't. We probably haven't gone over attack. Okay, cool. We'll go over that shit later. All right, you bring him all the stuff like normal, and once you do that, he's probably going to rig some explosives that you guys don't have because you're guerrillas, right? And he's going to say, fire in hole 1, right? Well, fire in hole 1 means that everybody out here is going to start trailing out, right? He's going to turn around, and he's going to physically place himself between something, let's say a tree or a lamppost or whatever. He's going to point at that thing, and he's going to physically count everybody out who goes through. Hey, 1, okay. 2, okay. 3, okay. 4. All right, so that's everybody off of Alpha Team, and notice how I took, you know, my team lead out last, right? Because you got to make sure that your homies are going through first. Fire in hole 2 is just going to be, you know, you and your machine gun, and then fire in hole 3, whatever it is you guys are doing, right? And then burning everybody else, like he's leaving, right? Fire in hole 3 is going to be your machine gunner. He's the only guy there. Your support, your security elements that we all forgot about, they're also making their way back to the ORP, right? Your objective rally point. And then burning, he's finding the last guy off, right? We'll say this was a lamppost, not a tree, because who gives a shit? I don't have a lamppost printed, but I guess I'll get one. All right, this is a massive major road, and then you just kind of destroy whatever is there, right? There are some things that you can use to blow things up. If that's something that you want to do, you can, of course, use, 500 pounds of tannerite if that's something that you're wanting to do. But supposedly tannerite cannot be electronically detonated. Supposedly it can only be detonated by, a high-powered rifle, right? Good on whoever created that shit, so we could have a legal, fun explosive. But, it does work on high impact. Supposedly you can't destroy it with a hammer. All right, cool. So let's go over what is this going to look like for a small group. And you guys notice that my Blue 4 looks like a kitted out sheriff's department for a fucking reason, right? Because Blue 4 is bad. Okay. So what are you actually going to do? One, there's probably only going to be one of these guys that if you're the 3 or 4 dudes and you guys maybe, and I say maybe, you guys have an LMG, right? You have some kind of light machine gun, and you have your team lead who's probably going to be in the center so he can control whatever the hell's going on. Are we actually conducting an ambush when we have so few people? Well, probably not. Probably what you're going to end up doing is an attack by fire. If you're very ballsy and you have all those people and you know that they've got equipment that you want, right, you're probably just going to be doing an attack by fire. But an attack by fire can be done anywhere and it can be done at any time, right? Whenever we're saying attack by fire, we are not clearing the objective. We're not doing anything. We are amassing fires on our one target. Let's say it's this people guy. So you mass fires on target. Leader's going to initiate. Hey man, does everybody have a beat on this guy? Yes, 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 yes. And you're probably going to amass fires. Wait like a couple of seconds, because immediately after that dude falls, you're going to want to make sure that you have your own security. We're not running up on anything. We're doing, I guess it would be closer to a far ambush, because you do not want to be anywhere near the fucking mess that you just made, right? Somebody is going to be there rather quickly. Somebody who outguns you is probably going to be there rather quickly, depending on your area, right? Unless you have all kinds of stuff, right? And this is where we're going to get into primary and secondary targets, right? Your primary target you just fucking knocked off, who looks similar to Rick Grimes over here. You just knocked off Rick Grimes. Right, you fucked him up. We're not going to go clear his body. We're not going to do anything. We're probably going to, once he is that far away, you are still probably going to attack his dead corpse to make sure that he's not coming back. Right, nothing is cool whenever the dead start talking and come back at you. Right, so let's say you screwed him up. That's it. You're all right, guys. We're taking off, firing the whole one. Whoop! Everybody is coming back, gets counted out. Cool. We did our thing. We left. Right. The other option is if you were on like a dirt road, though people don't. We're in America, right? In Afghanistan, yes, there were trails. There were little trails. There were roads. Like Highway 1 was the main highway. There were places where it's like, oh hey, it's definitely going to be a Hilux coming through. Right? Or we know it's going to be like a group of fucking fighters, and we aren't initiating with some claymores. We're initiating with a fucking airdrop, right? Like we're not 35 yards close to these guys. We see them. We know they're there. We've already set up this ambush, this far ambush area away from them, and we drop fucking bombs on them. And then we'll make that trek, that long trek, that 600 plus yard, 600 plus meter trek to go look and see, who all did we actually fucking kill, right? They're bad guys in black with AKs. They're probably the fucking bad guys, and then we just use, a fucking missile or rocket or some shit to be like, hey man, we already have air support out here. Let's just fuck up this entire goddamn mountain. And if you don't have support, then you just do it with overwhelming firepower, right? And half the time, you're in a technicalized vehicle, right? Not really a technical. Well, let me find something. Or a military Humvee that has guns and shit on it, right? So you have a purpose-built vehicle. We had very few MRAPs actually, because Humvees were just so much easier to get around on in the mountains. Sometimes like fucking four-wheelers and shit. Sorry, I gotta stop the cursing. And four-wheelers and things, right? But that's not what we're doing here. This is you being a partisan with 3 other guys or whatnot. So So are you clearing this objective? I don't know. Are you doing a near ambush anymore? Why would you do a near ambush? If you're doing a near ambush for the express purpose of we're trying to get secondary targets to come out here, right? One, we already know that Blue 4 and White Cell, those are the main targets of a guerrilla, right? We're not shooting random civilians. That would be terrible. I mean, we just saw a bunch of random civilians get ganked in Israel, right? You're not a terrorist, you're a freedom fighter. It's a little bit different. There are bad things that happen, but as long as you can make sure that you, at the very least, are having hard, uniformed, military-style targets and the only civilians that you are smoking are the assholes stepping on your rights, then you're probably going to look more and more like the good guy than anybody else, right? We're not running around killing kids. We're not running around killing women and raping and all that shit. We're just trying to get rid of the bad guys, right? Or at least send the message that this job is not good for your life expectancy, right? Whatever it is you're doing, you're being the bad guy. Okay, so again, this is our linear. I think I covered the 10-man linear ambush in less than 10 minutes in and of itself, and then we just kind of got sidetracked. My bad. All right, so once you do that, you're just leaving. If you are going to stay here, I would punch up your security, especially whenever we're on main roads in the U.S. Like, I don't care if it's a town and it's not a main road. If it's not a back road, then this is what you're doing, right? Also, we got to figure out, like, why did this guy stop? Why is he out here walking? You're probably in an urban area if this dude's just out here walking. Well, if this dude's just out here walking, guess who's going to show up? Somebody is going to come out here. This dude's probably going to be there to secure the area first, especially if it's a shots fired scenario, right? And now we're going to decide, do we want to be here whenever goon number 2 comes out? Because he's not coming by himself, right? Goon number 2 is not coming out all by himself. Goon number 1 might have been there all lonesome, but goon number 2 is not coming out there all by himself. Somebody else is going to be coming as soon as goon number 2 is there. Even where I'm at in the middle of nowhere, we're probably going to have 3 different towns come out and at least the sheriff's department come out. Our sheriff's department might not be very large, but and it covers a grand total of like 77,000 people. Might not be very large, but they are going to call their friends, which you've got to know who are you fighting, why are you fighting them, right? And this is coming from the guy who believes in having maybe a sheriff's department, right? Maybe a sheriff's department. I'm all for actually just not having any government and having no government entities, but I realize that if I'm not out there being my own warlord, somebody else is going to be a warlord, right? If you don't have somebody there. But yeah, I mean, at this point, being your own warlord is probably a better option than letting somebody else be a warlord. And so facto, you know, Blue 4 are the warlords out here. They're not necessarily keeping the peace, right? They're just the only ones. They are pretending they are the only ones that have use of force. Anybody with firearms got use of force. Anybody. La-di-da-di, everybody. Right? All this, your free crap that you got taught in school, you've only been told that you're free. Like, none of us is free. Right? And if you have a social security number or you don't have one, right? If you got lucky enough to not have birth records and all that stuff, they will still try to come find you. They'll just be like, oh, you're an undocumented person, and try to kick you out of the nation, right? Like, it is just crazy the amount of paperwork that they have to have on you so you can be treated like a fucking dog. All right, let's get back to the task at hand. So, secondary targets. Whoop whoop, he shows up. Now, what have you already done to prep this area for that secondary target? Personally, I would use a giant, massive, cannot miss this giant body-sized target of tannerite, right? Something just enormous, right? Something enormous, because tannerite's really not that dangerous, right? And then pack that shit full of whatever, stuff you find at the hardware store. Nails, ball bearings, if that's your thing, you know, whatever, who gives a shit, right? And then you guys, all you did was throw it up there before Goon 2 showed up, and then you left way back to the middle of nowhere, and it's just something that you know that you can hit from this distance, and you all mass fires on that thing to get it to explode, and then you leave, right? The whole point, though, is as a guerrilla, probably onesies and twosies, right? This scenario is probably not going to happen, right? You are not, A, you're not going to have enough people. B, you're not going to have enough things that go boom, right? You're just not going to have enough guns to deal with whenever this dude and his other 50 homies show up. Because it's not going to be like one or two guys. It's going to be, you know, the entire police force. Oh, hey, we noticed that shots were fired, right? That's it. Now, if you do a mass fires rather quickly, and old boy didn't get a radio out, then yeah, sure, of course, you know, it's going to be more of a, hey, we're doing a near or we're doing a far, whatever. We smoked this guy. He didn't get time to talk to his lapel at all. You just smoke him, make sure he's dead, continue to make sure he's dead, right? And once that's done, then sure, maybe you do go steal a radio that the radio is probably fucked up, right? And I wouldn't even cross the entire objective, right? I would just have, like, you know, maybe these guys go through, or maybe if you do want to cross the entire objective, you know, that's up to you guys. But at this point, you're just one guy. You don't clear human beings all by yourself. But as you're pushing through, you know, hey, look, we know he's obviously at least got a weapon, right? Body, smoke this dude. And you're not pushing past if you know that you're shooting one singular guy, right? You're just going up, body, steal whatever crap he's got on him, and then did him out of there, man. It's time to get out of there. You done did the bad, and now it's time to leave. Now, we'll get into forensics and stuff here in a little bit, but suffice it to say that they are probably going to be able to tell that it was a couple of different weapons, right? If you're using a 10-22, they're going to be able to tell it's 22 LR. If you're using a 5.56 gun, they're going to be able to tell that it's 5.56. But you know what's cool about 5.56? Literally everybody in the fucking United States has some kind of 5.56 gun, right? They aren't going to be able to tell exactly which gun it came out of. This isn't CIA Hollywood, right? This isn't CIA Miami. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, this random gun. Especially in the United States, they're going to have to go through so many people, right? And as long as you're not doing things like posting on the internet or making how-to tactical fucking videos, you're probably not going to get a knock on your door. Nobody's going to fucking know, right? Nobody's going to be like, oh, hey, you know, hey, we're really spun up. We're going to have really high security around, because that's really all they can do, right? They'll be able to identify that it was 3 different weapons. If it's 3 guys, they'll pick up whatever bullets they can find. But I mean, use frangible ammo, use other stuff, right? Don't buy a Daniel Defense and then use your Daniel Defense specific rifle upper. Just get a different barrel or get a different fucking upper, right? Like it's not that hard to at least give a little bit of standoff for yourself. You're not just, oh, hey, we did this, right? Use brass catches. Don't be 35 yards from your target or whatever, right? Be further away from your target. Most of these cops they're not going to be checking 100 yards away. They're definitely not checking 300 yards away, right? If you all are just like, hey, look, we're all taking one singular shot at this guy. We all know that we can hit him. Pow, dude goes down. All right, hit his dead body one more time. Pow, dude's dead still, right? And then leave. You pick up your brass or have a brass catch. Oh my gosh, just have a brass catch on there. Your brass is probably where they're going to find a print, right? It's definitely not going to be on the ammunition. So, I mean, in the way of forensics. Okay, I think I got like 15 more minutes on this. So let's go ahead and go over what's an L look like real fast, and I've got like 10 minutes. So let's go over L shape. All right, same thing. We got inflate fire or inflate oblique fires from the machine gun or something very similar, right? Your beaten zone is very close to itself and it's straight in line with the machine gun. This is probably way more effective in L-shape if you can conduct an L-shape ambush. Probably going to be a lot better than doing a linear. Just get good at doing linear first, right? And whenever I say get good at doing linear, go airsoft. Go practice on a flat range. Don't even have to practice on a flat range. Just get you and your goons to do this and do the commands, right? That's it. Okay, cool. So, hey, we've initiated. Bam, 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 bam. All right. Alpha team leader says, hey, look, we're pushing up. Left side, follow me. Stop and set. Actually, hold on, I lied. Let's go all the way to the back. Fires have been initiated. Bam, 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 bam. All right. Mad Minute has been conducted. There is no movement out there. By the way, if the Mad Minute has been conducted and there is movement out there, you know what you do? A second Mad Minute. That's it. Mad Minute is where we're just trying to saturate the shit out of our target area with bullets. Okay? So if it's like, and then you get ceasefire, and everybody's been attacked, and you hear, or gasp of life, or you hear any kind of fucking movement, guess what? Command or your ATL, somebody's still breathing. And then you guys just fucking light it up again for a whole other minute. Just try to make sure that you're hitting bodies. Ceasefire. Okay. Nothing's moving. Nobody's moving. We're calling out again. Drums. Drums. You're belt fed over here. Drums. Right? We're reloading. And you're doing those one at a time, so somebody is still covering this. Right? Drums. Boom, boom. Okay, cool. Drums been taken care of. Mags. Boom, boom. Boom. Already taken care of. All right. Left side with me. Awesome. Right side to me. Awesome. And then we're just assaulting through. Body, body. We're still doming these dudes in the fucking head, right? Pap, 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 pap. All right. And if there's a firearm laying next to them, you try to kick that stuff away or just pick it up. I'm cool if you pick it up, right? Like that part is going to depend on you. I don't just leave. I don't think we ever just left guns, right? You're already dead. I'm not that worried about it as long as, there's nothing crazy happening. Like, yank the fucking gun. Who cares, right? This is the U.S. and you're La Policia or whoever you're attacking that's Blue 4 or whoever you're attacking that's White Cell. They're not going to have a triggered, C4 detonator on them. They're not going to have PET G on them. They're not going to have any of that stuff to blow you up. Right? That wouldn't make any sense. All right, cool. And then you do your whole, we cleared the LOA. Right? And again, your machine gun's coming over, and we're watching where the bad guys came from, because that's probably where they're coming from again, right? Most likely avenue of approach. You still have these guys up here. I would say you kind of actually want them moved off the road this way so they're not on a road. This is more for like, hey, I'm showing you how we do this. In a big way. I definitely don't actually have your guys on the road. But roads in real life are not this massive unless it's a highway. Anyway, your security element is still up at the top. They might come a little bit closer to the road. These guys are still way that direction. But they're over here, right? These dudes got killed. And now we just did the exact same thing, right? Our machine gunner was over here, off the road, right? And moved with the lead. Same thing. These guys you won't actually be able to see. But I want security there on purpose. And then you're going to continue mission like you did last time. What am I at? Like 5 minutes, and I'm over here just talking and doing stupid stuff, right? These guys set out their miniature security, right? Taking care not to actually be shooting at our security over here. Go out, collect stuff, collect, and either give it to your team lead or, depending on your all's SOP, just be like, hey, look, I have all this shit. Right? This is something that you're communicating whenever you're picking it up. You'll be like, hey, look, I have, guy 1 has an AK and, a fucking chest rig. full of ammo and fucking radio. Guy has AK and doesn't have a radio, but he's got a cell phone on him. Guy has, whatever fucking equipment he's got. Okay, this is the time where, like, we just got really, really loud. Nobody can hear each other anymore. We're communicating vocally very loudly to what's going on, especially in the middle of the night. Like, your security guys, they are going to be able to hear all of what's going down just about, right? Like, our voices were hoarse going over this stuff all day, every day. But yeah, so you do all this stuff. I would say don't cross the objective. I don't think I had you guys cross the objective, as in, like, we're leaving that way. We don't typically do that. Like, our ORP is down here. Our rucks, all of our shit is down that way, or vehicle, or whatever. Honestly, if we've got a vehicle, I'm taking the fucking vehicle. Right? We're using the vehicle as the, machine gunner's nest to screw shit up. But yeah, so whatever it is that you're doing, you've come back, you've cleared. Okay, he's got all the data he wants. Fire in the hole one, and Alpha Team Leader is like, hey, look, we're sending these guys back. Okay, and then I'm out again, right? Going straight to the lead, between the lead and something, or just like hitting the lead's hand so he knows, so he's got to count. Whatever. Fire in the hole 2. We're going to get out of here. And fire in the hole 3, security is, taking off, going towards the objective. Security kind of has to, like, be decent at knowing where they went, especially at night. Knowing where the ORP is at night, so that you can get back to the ORP, right? You gotta know where you are and where you're going. Like, that's the only way to look cool, is know where you are and know where you're going. And then, burning, whatever, right? Just because we assaulted some Chinesium soldiers and we got C4 from, the National Guard or some shit, right? And now we're out here acting as our own guys, which is never going to happen. They are not going to give you, as civilians, like, the Red Dawn scenario. The U.S. government is not coming to help you, right? If there's a Red Dawn scenario, it's because that they allowed that to happen. All right, but anyway, that's an L-shaped ambush. Let's see, how much more time do I have? A little bit less than 10 minutes. So L-shape, if you're just the 3 guys, again, right, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. You have a way to do enfilade fires. Let's say it's a vehicle, right? And really, all you're doing at this point is prepping for them to make that turn, right? Your speed is your security. Are we getting inside the vehicle? At this point, you can, yeah, ambushes are supposed to make sure somebody is dead and make sure that equipment is done. But once they are, like, just outside of the kill box, you want to be lighting up the engine, driver's side windows, yada, yada, yada. What you're trying to get rid of is the driver, right? That's the ultimate goal. We're trying to destroy that human life, right? Which I know that sounds terrible, but that's what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to kill the dudes who are bad guys. And we've already been over this stuff before on the channel. We already know what makes them bad guys, right? I don't feel sorry for somebody who takes a job and that job is literally like, hey, we're going to go make trouble and chase down other people just because they didn't pay their taxes, because they haven't had a job in the last 2 years because the government told them you're not allowed to have a fucking job anymore, right? You're the fucking bad guy. Whenever they come around and they're like, oh, well, they have, these certain weapons that the government all of a sudden doesn't like. And it's not all of a sudden. We know that the government doesn't like regular random people having firearms at all. Right? We know that. Okay? But they're running around in the middle of the night, coming to take your shit, and whenever they do it on their terms in the middle of the night, they're coming to fucking kill you. Right? They are coming to fucking kill you. They don't care that you got a family. They don't care that you're a law-abiding citizen. They don't care about any of that shit. What they care about is, oh, hey, we got this special door-kicking warrant, and we're allowed to go do whatever the fuck we want at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning, and whenever you're getting blasted in the face by 20 different flashlights, and you're sitting there armed with a rifle, it's not going to matter if you shoot or not. They're just going to say, gun, 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 and smoke your ass, because that's what they're trained to do. That's what's going to happen. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's already been several people who have been outright murdered by the police because the police didn't have the decency to be like, hey, we're just going to go, say hello. Nope, we're going to conduct a no-knock raid because we're allowed to. White Cell said we're allowed to. Let's go fucking do a no-knock raid. 4 o'clock in the fucking morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, right? The right time to do crime, right? They go out there, they do whatever. You're a 75-year-old man who's never done anything bad in his life or has like a couple of fucking traffic tickets, and then they come fucking smoke you because some Karen called in on you, right? Okay, that's enough of that spiel. I think I do it every single time. But that's the stuff that works me up. You're not the fucking good guy if you were Blue 4 watching this going, oh, well, this dude's showing folks how to kill people. Yeah, you're the bad guy. You're the fucking bad guy, right? If I came up to your house without anything other than a piece of paper from somebody with assumed authority, if I came out to your house and started shooting at your fucking windows at 3 o'clock in the morning, or I busted into your house, oh, well, I would just shoot you if you busted in my house. Yeah, dipshit. Same fucking thing. Right? Goes both ways. Bullets go both ways. The enemy has a say. Right? And you're the fucking enemy. You're the bad guy. Whether you're backed by a shitty, illegitimate government or not, you're the fucking bad guy. Okay? Just because you're backed by the government doesn't make you less bad. The Venezuelans back their police. The Iraqis back their police. I'm not a big fan of the A&A, and we worked with them. But guess what? They were backed by us and by Afghanistan, right? You're not the fucking good guy, bro. You just happen to have way more money and more guns. All right, so for you partisans and for you Red Cell guys out there, the guns that the police have on them, they're free. Your taxes paid for them. Go ahead and take them, whatever. I don't give a shit, right? I'm not actually telling anybody to go do anything. This is just my feelings, and most of this is how to do things on an educational level. So no one's actually saying to go out and do this stuff. But you have my feelings. You're not the good guy. I'm not the good guy either. I just want to be left the fuck alone. Alright. That's it. That's all I got. This has been Linear Ambush and L-shaped ambush for you partisans out there in transmission.